Are there a bunch of astronauts stranded in space right now? No. Not that you would tell that from the headlines that are going around lately. So what's really happening? On June 5th, Boeing Starliner spacecraft launched 2 astronauts to the International Space Station, a mission that was slated to last for 10 days. It is now more than 10 days later, and the astronauts are still up there. You see, during and after docking with the ISS, they began to notice some problems with this spacecraft. The leakers were thrusting. Nope. The thrusters were leaking and there was a stuck valve. So NASA and Boeing decided to keep the astronauts on the ISS while they tried to figure out what was going on with the spacecraft. They've been testing the thrusters on the spacecraft, and they also made replicate versions here on the ground to test them further. Now, it's true they haven't set a return date for the astronauts to come back because they're waiting to finish up this testing, which will probably take a couple of weeks. But the astronauts aren't stranded. If they need to, they could come home on this spacecraft. In fact, last week, a defunct satellite broke up near the ISS, and the astronauts went into Starliner to protect themselves from the debris and to prepare to leave the ISS if it got damaged. Also, the way this is being reported makes it sound like there's these 2 lonely astronauts stuck up in outer space. But there's other people on the ISS, and also 2 other spacecraft docked to it currently besides Starliner. I do understand why this sounds concerning though, and honestly it's never great when a spacecraft doesn't function the way it's supposed to. Not to mention how much this doesn't help Boeing's PR crisis. But both the astronauts and the spacecraft are equipped to stay in space for a while longer. And in this kind of situation, it's always best to try to learn as much as possible before we send them home.